Bonsoir. So welcome to the special repeat screening of I Am a Knife with Legs. Very happy this is the official send-off screening of Fantasia 2014. By popular demand, added screening. This was the world premiere 2 weeks ago. Changed a lot of lives, I'd like to think. Sorry for the delay. We're actually waiting for a bunch of volunteers from across the street who are dying to be here. As a thank you, we were just straggling an extra 10 minutes so they can run over and make it. So anyways, thank you for your patience. It will be rewarded immaculately in a few minutes. Before we begin, I'd like to give a special thanks to Stephanie Trepanier and mention, many of you know her. She's been a core programmer at the festival, one of our best friends for 9 years. She's moved to Los Angeles. This is her last year at the festival. We love her dearly, and we want to thank her for her service and her inspiration, and just her amazing Stephanie-ness self. So give her a good hand. She's somewhere in the room. Stephanie Trepanier, you rule. We love you. And now, it's time for everything that you know to change. It's time for I Am a Knife with Legs. One of the most eccentric discoveries I've encountered over 17 years of programming at Fantasia. Yes, I came in with the second year. This is truly a highlight of my career, this movie. I love it so much. We all do. It's got this almost a cult type of hypnotic effect on people. Everybody at the screening 2 weeks ago just became like rabid dogs. It was such an amazing audience experience. You felt the question marks floating in the room and then complete electric inspiration. I can tell you that anything you've experienced in your lives has never been even close to what you're going to see here. It will make you question everything and look at the world a different way. The man who made this film, this is the result of something like 7 years of sacrifice. It's a brilliant DIY UFO. This man is the star, the composer, the writer, the director, the color timer, the sound designer, and so many other incredible things. Give it up, please, for Bennett Jones!
Thank you, Mitch. Thanks, you guys. There's no way I can live up to that intro.
You don't have to film
that.
that.
It's like doing something that would get me in the paper for the wrong reasons. So, but thanks for coming out tonight. Let me ask you guys, how many of you saw the movie already? Put up your hands. Thanks for coming back. You know, I obviously I made this movie, so I can't be too objective, but what I like about it is it's crammed with jokes. So if you don't catch them, you may want to, hopefully, watch it again. It's kind of like, if anyone has ever seen Repo Man. Anybody ever see Repo Man? When I saw that movie as a kid, like a lot of my friends, we immediately had to get the soundtrack, which has Iggy Pop and Black Flag, etc. All these bands that we did not hear on the radio where I was going to school. Now, so if you have that same reaction to this, you're in luck, because I'll be selling the soundtrack for $10 a 1 gig flash drive. Yeah, make sure you got the cash on you. I see people checking. I better have cash on me. And it's got songs from the movie and a couple other tunes I chucked in there. And we'll sell it right around the corner after the thing. So I don't have many. I think I've got about 40 left. So don't hurt anyone to get it. It's not that good. You can always find someone who has it and just copy it, and pirate it, and sell it, and ruin my career. So I see our stars, the real stars of the evening, coming in tonight.
We've been holding back for you.
Wonderful workers who made all this possible. And actually, while they're walking in, everybody here who was involved in the festival and worked on the festival and helped me get my stupid movie in front of people, give yourselves a hand. You guys are awesome. So everybody just clap for yourself. And I guess we can just do this thing, man.
Let's begin.
If there's going to be, I brought in a grief counselor. So if you have if the movie hits you in the wrong way, and you're just in a mess afterwards, you can talk to the grief counselor. That's a joke. There's no grief counselor. Okay, thanks you guys. Enjoy it.
Comme ça qu'on finit Fantasia. Qu'une panne d'électricité.
You know, when you've got all the computer on and everything's running and you're just like... Is everything right? It just kind of sounded like a bulb.
Sorry, guys. It's a weird Concordia thing. It's really good. I think Concordia just is not cool enough for Bennett. But yeah, just be patient. Should not be much longer. We do have power, and hopefully it will stay. Isn't that fantastic? Ladies and gentlemen, Bennett Jones! You're too fast for the man.
Thanks, everybody. Sorry about that hiccup that happens.
Apparently it's related to construction. We got that explanation. Some construction related to the metro, so fuck the STM. Thank you very much.
Okay, yeah. So it was not the fault of, it was socialism was to blame.
Yes, absolutely. So how do you want to do? Do you want to do an interview? You want to go right into it with the audience?
Well, we started late, so people may have places to go and babysitters and crap, so, I guess. But, let's just, some overview stuff so.
You want to do overview stuff? Okay.
Real overview,
so
yeah.
let's talk maybe first about the production period, the fact that it took so many years to make, and also your approach to using free association in comedy, the way you have here.
The first part of that question, the time span, it was 7 years ago that I started writing it, and I wrote it pretty quickly, but what took so long was it's not like we were shooting for 7 years, that would be insane. We probably shot 13 days over the course of 2 years, so we'd shoot a couple days, and many months would go by, and then we'd shoot a few more days. And during that time, the little girl Ashley grew. I mean, I don't know what she was thinking. That wasn't in her contract. But she grew, and we had to reshoot all her scenes because she just looked so different. But on the positive side, she was a much better actor. And actually, that scene where she was actually started to really understand it. So she was able to keep a straight face. She was actually directing Tommy in that fight, and she became, she's a smart kid.
Do you want to go into detail a bit about that? It's a great story. The way
Right.
she was
Sorry.
directed.
Oh, yeah. Well, at one point, she was telling Tommy, like, okay, you're supposed to duck here when I do the roundhouse, duck, and then I got a kick coming. Yeah, became a real pro there. But, during that 7 years, I took time off. I did many other projects. The music alone, though, was about 1.5 years of work, just the music. So if any musicians who've done home recording, it seems like you can do anything you want if you just devote every goddamn minute of your life to it. It takes forever. So it really, if you compressed all my actual time, it was nowhere near 7 years of work. It just, a lot of life got in the way here and there. But I think in some ways that drawing it out, I was able to bring in new stuff. Like in the chase scene, my favorite song is the song in the chase scene, sung by my friend Grace Bryan, which I wrote for another project. That wouldn't be in the movie if I had finished it 1 year ago, because that's a fairly new tune. What was the second half of your question?
just the way you
Oh.
approach using free association in comedy.
Well, when you do a project like this where it's your own time, your own apartment, and you're doing most of the stuff, if you change your mind about anything, you can just shoot another scene. All those shots of the knife going into the speakers and so forth, I just added that way past editing. I mean, that was an editing gag, and I just shot the stuff in my apartment, threw that in there. The fire that happened outside the window, that's a real fire. And the only camera I had was this crappy Canon with a broken zoom, but that's a real fire. That house burned to the ground. Nobody was hurt. They were out of town, but
And you didn't set it.
I did not set that one. I didn't set that fire.
Do you want to talk about the casting?
Sure. For the most, we had no casting process.
Right.
Beefy, my friend Will Crest, and I have worked together for years. He's a improv guy, a comedy guy. We had done the live show, and he had played my security guy, and we had a lot of fun with that. So that was, he was in. There was no question about that. Tommy, who plays the bearded assassin, I saw him. He's a friend of a friend's. He's an editor, and I saw him playing in this yearly beach football game my friends do. And then they shoot it and they edit it like it's a sports film. It's pretty damn funny. And that guy is indestructible. And I thought he'll chase me through Chinatown. He's perfect. The tall guy, Matthew, who's the inflatable robot assassin, he's a friend of mine. We went to Cal Arts together. He's an opera singer, and he's just around. He's got a Mercedes. So he got that part. And then the little girl, I was originally going to have this big plot where the assassin is a woman and then she falls in love and blah, blah, but I didn't know who, and I'd have to cast, and I said, I'll just put a little kid in there. And there's something funny about children when they don't know what the hell they're doing. And when they're in a high-status position, it's just automatic. Like Will Ferrell's landlady bits that he did with his 4-year-old. It's hilarious stuff. So I was counting on her to just be weird and hilarious, and she came through. And then the other guy in the window, that's my neighbor. The guy without a shirt is Aaron Arendt, who's a film director, and he's done some movies. Dallas, the cinematographer, is in the movie. He's directed The Pact 2. He's like working his way up the horror chain, and just mostly friends.
Okay. Do you want to talk a bit about the genesis of the Bennett character?
Sure. So back in the 90s, a friend of mine said, hey, can you do an act for a party? Throw something together, a big loft party in LA. And I said, sure, I'll do, let's say, a French pop band. So I got some friends together, and we put together this band called Pathétique. And it was pretty funny. The main gag was that my girlfriend was the piano or keyboard player in the band, and we had a restraining order. So I couldn't cross this line in the stage. I could still perform with her, but I was literally, legally not allowed to step over this line. And we did 3 gigs. I broke up with my girlfriend. I took the act solo, wrote new material, made the pants, and the rest is l'histoire. Is that right? My French is terrible.
That could work. Well, it's the story, histoire.
Histoire, okay.
Pretty much the same word.
All right.
It's magical language. Now, there were some rumors that we were getting that Bennett himself might have been able to accompany you tonight.
It's possible. At least his upper half.
Right.
His torso.
Do you think you could possibly bring him out for us?
Sure, yeah. How about we take some questions?
Yes, let's
First?
do that.
And maybe he'll appear.
Question from the audience. You must have, yes.
Thank you for a deliciously
Oh, you're welcome very much.
stupid film. I loved it so much.
Deliciously stupid.
Yeah,
That's such a
I loved
quote.
it. I felt like there was like a slight message that I had a problem with, and I wanted you to address it, and I wanted to confront you on it, where you kind of group smokers with litterers, and I understand the confusion, because a lot of smokers will dispose the butts, but they are biodegradable, and I just wanted you to
Security.
maybe address it, because I feel like you might might be sending a wrong message.
But this is a very, I'm glad you brought this up. That's just my standard answer to every question is, I'm glad you brought this up. Actually, that song, Spiritual Tourist, was inspired by my working in Bali and Indonesia, or Bali is Indonesia, Bali and Java. Wonderful place, really amazing experience, but I was really struck by how just, like, a lot of the people we went with are these neo-hippies who were expecting to be transformed by this. It was a job, but as soon as they got off the plane, they got the sarongs and they walked around barefoot. And I'm like, no one else here is wearing that. They are literally wearing t-shirts that say "fuck you" on them. And just a lot of smoking and a lot of littering. I mean, it's specific to that country. They litter a lot. and they smoke a lot.
So it's not anti-smoker, it's racist.
Yes, it's racist. But the main point of this movie is, I'm a racist. Anybody, I hope that makes it into some paper tomorrow.
Next question. Yes.
I'm glad you asked that. Go ahead. Sorry. I was preparing.
I didn't ask nothing. Well, it's the second time I see this movie. By the way, I was there the last screening, and the music is really great. It's even better the second time because you expect the songs and you know a bit about them. I bought the the soundtrack, and it's really fun to listen to.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, and really the first song is really long, by the way.
It's 15 minutes.
Yeah,
You can hit next.
That's what I will do next time I listen to it. But really, what I wanted to know, because did you record all the sound? Did you compose the song before you start to shot the film, or was it like when you were in post-production, you start editing the film and then you were adding the songs to it? Because there is things that are shot according to the sound, but
Right.
did you just shot like random plans and random scenes and then you just like make some kind of video clips with it? Or
I just turned the camera on and swung it around my head for a couple of years and to see what would happen. No, a bunch of the songs were written and recorded. Like we recorded a playback track for the movie on several of them, but I re-recorded them and changed them quite a bit, and I ran into problems with lip sync because there's some. I'm always changing my mind on things. Like the "Give It Up for That Dude" song, I re-recorded it with a swing beat, and now it's more of a ska tune. It's much better. The original version was much more just straight ahead rock and roll beat, for example. But some of the songs I did not write until during the editing. Like the chase scene, both of those chase scene songs were written well into the editing process.
Yes.
This was great.
Thank
This
you.
was my first time seeing this. It was strange and I loved it. And my question is, what are you working on next? Are you working on something? Do you have any plans, music, movies? And will you be coming back to Fantasia?
I would love to come back here. I'm a big fan of the city and the festival for shizzle. Nobody says that anymore. I'm trying to bring it back. I couldn't have asked for a better milieu for my world premiere. I mean, this was perfect, really, because you guys are pretty hip audiences, and it's a great city. I mean, I could have ended up in like Cleveland. You know what I mean? Anybody from Cleveland? My mom's from there. But as far as future projects, I have three different projects that I've been tossing around in my mind while finishing this up, but haven't had the time to do it. But a friend of mine, actually the guy who's picking up his baby in Beijing in the movie, those are my friends. Liam and Kelly, and that's a little girl, Virginia, who's now 7. I was talking to Liam about, he was up here for the world premiere, we were talking about the creative process, and he said, Truman Capote said, like somebody would say to him, Truman, I'm working on this novel and writing this scene, but I want to save this scene for this other other project, and Truman would say, "Don't save it, use it." So if it's good, stick it in what you're working on now. Don't save it for that novel you're never going to write. So I'm thinking of just combining all these things into one, but I can't talk specifically about it, although you'll steal it.
Yes.
Were you inspired by Nigel from Spinal Tap for the creation of the character of Bennett?
I'm a huge fan of that movie, and I'm one of just a tiny group of people who saw Spinal Tap live when they did a coast-to-coast tour after that movie. They did 2 cities. They did coast to coast, San Francisco, Boston, 2 gigs. And as part of the joke, they made us wait 2.5 hours. Hilarious! But no, I love that movie. And he had a great deadpan. You know, he would say absurd stuff, very serious, never crack a smile, and there are many, many deadpan heroes, but that certainly.
The philosophy of Bennett seems very similar to Nigel in the way of thinking.
Yeah, it's a little random, but he stays serious. So yeah, it definitely was an influence.
Yes.
I noticed you wrote yourself into the movie as Harrison Ford at one point.
So that was Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Are there any other impressions you know how to do?
Ask
There's
the bullying question.
a bunch.
Take it away.
I'll do.
Too many.
Thank you, Brian Stick. Well, last time I did Alec Baldwin and Kevin Spacey and William H. Macy, so I'll just do them again because I could do Michael Caine, but who here doesn't do a Michael Caine impression, right? Just about everyone does a Michael Caine impression. So here's Alec Baldwin. I had a hell of a time finding this place. I drove all the way up from New York in my Bentley. Or I didn't drive, my servant drove. He kept taking wrong turns. Next thing I knew, I was in Albany. Is that a city or a state? What is it? I don't know what it is. But now I'm here, and I'm very happy to be here. I notice a lot of people speak French, trying to impress me. Everywhere I go, everyone starts talking French, trying to impress me. I'm just a regular guy, just like you guys. Drop the French. I don't need your stupid French. Speak English. English is fine. Well. And this is, and I'll just do Kevin Spacey really quick.
Do Macy.
You want to see Macy?
The spaces, do them both. Do them both.
Give me, all right, here's Kevin Spacey and William H. Macy. Can give me a location. Camping trip. What's it? Greenland? Cleveland. All right. This is William H. Macy and Kevin Spacey at a film festival in Cleveland. Well, at least there's no paparazzi. That's true. Not a single photographer here. Listen, Bill. Oh boy, here I can feel a complaint coming on, Kevin. I just feel it. This is my problem with this town. I don't leave my house unless someone will take my picture. Well, I think it's time to, one more question, then Bennett will make a quick appearance.
I love this movie, and I'm so happy the festival had a chance to present it not once, but twice. I'm wondering if you'd ever consider making a sequel where Bennett moves to Montreal.
A sequel is, there's been talk, and I mentioned that this is the world premiere because it's pretty damn cute, but I was hanging out with Ashley, who now has 2 even cuter sisters. It's ridiculous. And we were talking about a sequel, and she had an idea that Bennett gets a gig, and he's all excited. He hears, and he tells Beefy, hey man, we got the gig, it plays real good. It's in a town in Italy called Antarctica. He gets there, and it's Antarctica. Nobody wants to do a gig there. It's cold. She's a smart kid.
All right.
So, all right,
Now, can you conjure?
let's say hi to Bennett, all right? So, Bennett.
All right. International hero pop star, Bennett!
Man, that Bennett won't shut up. The dude is like, look at me, I did all these things. I painted the set. I made that eclair out of cardboard. I made the hands. Like, shut up, dude. Nobody cares that you have so little charm you couldn't talk anyone into helping you with this movie. That's the reality. That's the reality. He called all sorts of people and they were like, sorry dude, I got anything else to do but work on this stupid project.
Yeah. So is Bennett a difficult man to work with? How do you guys collaborate?
Well, it's, I believe personally there's no such thing as true collaboration, except maybe making a baby. That is true collaboration. Although the dudes get the burden of the work, really. That was a setup for smokers are great over here. That was a setup. Of course women do all the work with the babying. It was for smoking on the ground lady. So yeah, it's not a collaboration. Bennett does his thing. I tell him don't do it that way. I tell him the better way to do it. We do it my way. It works. So it's more like a king and a stupid fool,
Perfect.
A king fool.
Yeah. I was told this is your first time actually visiting Quebec. And I also was told that you loved it, but at the same time felt that it could be improved in so many ways. What would an ideal Bennett Quebec be?
Ideal Quebec. I think you should change the language, the official language. Just make up your mind, and I would say Catalan as the official language, English with a French accent. Because this is every 10 seconds a language dies. Something like that. Either 10 seconds or 10 years, either one language or 100 languages. Every certain amount of time, some certain number of languages die. Right? It's very scientific. But one of these languages, my favorite language, is English with a French accent. It's a great language. Peter Sellers spoke this language beautifully. It's poetic. It has all sorts of qualities that other languages don't have, and the idea of this language dying, breaks my heart. So I think Quebec should just decide from now on English with a French accent. You can just put it on the signs, Le McDonald's, Le Police Department, Le One-Way Street. Just put the Le, and people get it. Oh yeah, it's a little bit French.
Now, TMZ reported several weeks back that you've been doing some cloning experiments with pygmies. And apparently the pygmies are to be used in some sort of time travel endeavor. That's been hush-hush, but it's now blown wide. Can you give us some information about that?
Well, I guess the cat is out of the miniature cat is out of the regular sized bag, Pygmies are cool, and they deserve to be cloned because there aren't that many left. So why not give them a chance, and if you clone one pygmy into two pygmies and stack them.
Yes, the time-space continuum could be altered.
Right, it's the whole thing about the time-space black hole theorems is there is a pygmy part of that equation. And they're trying to crack that code, and it could be revealed that when you go through a wormhole, you come out pygmy. And when they go through a wormhole, they come out normal. And so we're trying to figure that out and profit from it and turn it into an app.
I appreciate your candor.
I'm going to look up candor later. Now I'm going to turn my mic back on.
Perfect. There's rumors that you're planning to open up some kind of a nightclub in Montreal.
Oh, yes. Oh, of course.
But you ran afoul somehow with the police department's codes. Can you elaborate a little bit on that? What is your dream nightclub for Montreal?
Well, you know, I'm a big fan of cheese. And it's not just because the mob controls cheese in this area and that I am sort of afraid of them. That has nothing to do with it. So the nightclub we called Cheese Mob. Right? And you go in there and you just pay exorbitant amounts of money for cheese or get beaten in the alley. It's fun, it's different, and it has nothing to do with the mob and cheese. Nothing. Nothing at all. I swear to God, Vinny.
Can we ask you perhaps, do you have your guitar with you?
Oh, it looks like I do. I didn't realize it, but there it is.
Would you like to maybe charm the audience with some tunes?
I've already charmed them, but I will play a tune, sure. Yeah, the charming is already done. So I'd like to, yeah, I'll play a tune for you dudes and ladies. And I guess I could play one of the tunes from the movie. I don't know if you have a microphone stand, or maybe you can probably hear me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can actually.
What's with all the meowing?
Simon's cat.
So, let's see, how about maybe just a little bit of one of the tunes from the movie, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I hope I remember how it goes, you know, I recorded it a long time ago. In school I learned of science and the inside of dead frogs. They always taught me the chemistry of love. It's 1 part sexy woman and 1 part sexy man. Mix them in a nightclub and stir as fast as you can. Attractivity. It meets in room 204B. Attractivity. Prerequisite to be sexy. Attractivity. You need a laboratory pass to pee. Attractivity. Won't you take this class with me? It's a duet, and Baguette's not here, so I'll stop the tune there, man. So this one is give it up for the dude in the cafe who asks if you want a section of his paper. And when you say yes, he gives it to you, but he doesn't take the opportunity to tell you a stupid story about his crummy life that is very repetitive. He leaves you alone to read your section. He leaves you alone to read your section of the paper. He leaves you alone to read your section Drums. Cause I've heard of a job scooping feces from train tracks in China, where I must go to escape your control and be free from your powerful jow jow. But I know just the same that I look at each train and swear on those graves. So my phone with a voice made of sexy love, sexy love, sexy love, sexy love, sexy love.
Awesome.
Usually I do a backflip, but I didn't stretch. So no backflip. But thanks so much, everybody. You're the best audience in Le Monde. Bennett is going to be selling soundtracks in the lobby.
All right, thank you, man.
Yeah.
Bennett
Bam! All right, thank you. I have a little change. Here you go. Take the card. It's got my contact in here. Oh yeah, I'd love to come back. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Hello. Let's see. Do you mind now? I may. I'm kind of low on. It's okay. Those cards you need to contact me. Is somebody else purchasing? Can you see if somebody has change?